Hey guys, one more time, I'm Hunter. Super happy to be with you one more time in another tutorial for Microsoft Excel. Right here we have a new workbook in which we'll work for the topic of today. It's just formatting cells. Basically, I've been often being asked, how do we do to just start working with formatting of the text that we use in cells. Well, let's just go ahead and work with some of the things that I can actually tell you to use in order to expedite the process. Um, let's just type in some text here. Perhaps the month. This is something that we quite often use here. Um, let's leave it till September, I guess. Turner on December is okay. We can do it all. So let's just double click here. That's one of the things that I usually work with all the time. It's just double clicking, selecting, as you can see here, arrange, and then just double clicking just to make sure they kind of look similar, or they just use the exact amount of space needed in order to have I would call it a parallel set of spaces in between them, or you can simply take the range again and just drag it a little bit, and they will move around as you drag the rest of these columns as you fit best. Now one quick thing that we can do, just add the ramp between, just to add text really quick here. So in other videos I have used this formula. Let's just place a number in between 65 and let's say 200. Okay, that will give us this, and let's just run it till here just by dragging this, and we'll have I will say a couple of the random numbers that we can use as a reference. And these, as you can see, they are not centers. So that's something that we can just start working with just by selecting the entire amount of this range, and then pressing in the center text button that we have here on the Microsoft Excel ribbon, and middle line, so that they look pretty nice. So far, with everything that we have done, this is getting way better. Okay, so one other thing that I would like to mention that is very useful is just creating tables out of this range. We do that by just going to the format as table button that you have here in the quit bar, and just by clicking there you will see a drop down with a lot of options. As you can see, you can even build your own options here. So by doing so, you actually expedite the formatting process. As you can see, look at this beauty right here. You can just create simple tables. You see that one's pretty nice right there, and like that you are able to expedite things like this really fast. So what else you can do? Okay, I like to work sometimes with the titles. So let's just go ahead and add maybe 2 or 3 more rows so that we have some space at the top of it. And this is something that I really enjoy doing, which is selecting perhaps the whole range of space that you have on the top, maybe selecting 2 rows at the same time, and then merge all this with the merge and center button. And in here you can perhaps just put the title, like, I don't know, sales of the year, and maybe 2018, and like that you have now a title that will tell you what this table is all about, but it's still not formatting. So let's just go, it's not formatted, so we need to work in something here. So that is that, but what do we do next? I mean, we already work on center it and merging these cells in order to have a title. Well, you have another option, which is the quick formatting that you have here. Just click on the more button, you will see, I will call it the vast amount of options that you have for cell formatting. And one of the things that you can notice there is the title and heading um, formatting for cells. And as you can see, if you just hover over, then you will see a preview of how this will look on your uh, Excel sheet by just hovering over it. Of course, for what we're looking for, we aiming to have a nice title there, so headings can be the solution for that. Just go ahead and select heading 2, and we are getting there. You see, sales of the year. Some people might just leave it like that. I don't. I like to use backgrounds for this. So I will have to probably look for something that looks similar or kind of close to what we're using. For example, here, this looks better. And I will use darker color for the font of this. Probably using the same palette that I have for the rest of the table, and voila. You see, of course, I'm not applying color psychology here. You can choose a lot of color schemes. I mean, you have a variety of options online, but this is just to give you an idea how you can work really fast, with this amount of tools that you have in Excel. If for any reason you don't like some of the formattings that we are actually applying on this, you can always just go ahead and click on the um, cell that you want to delete this format, and then you go to the clear option here, and by clicking on the more button here, this little arrow, you can clear the format, the content, the comments, even hyperlinks that you might have in here, and clear the entire amount of data being there. Boom, just by doing that. Let's just hit Ctrl Z just to go back, and let's click clear only format, and you can see now it's all empty again. Let's hit Ctrl Z again, and so on. So this is a very unique way to work with these things. Also, if you allow me to add another column here, and perhaps you want to split this, I would say, by cities, probably. We can use that term. We can take this range here, right? We selected merchant center, as we've been talking about, and let's say Managua. This will be only for Managua. We haven't formatted this yet, so let's just go ahead and middle alignment, and then in here you have another option, which is the orientation for text in a cell. You click here and you already have in Excel, a couple of them that are already coming like as a default option here. Let's use the vertical text here just to give you an idea. This looks nice right here. Let's just add a little bit more of a font size on these, and then just be able to work with a color that kind of matches the one that you have, or any other color. We're just testing this right now, so any other color might just look pretty much the same. Let's use this, and probably in here we could use a white font color, and you can always choose another type of font for this. I'm actually liking this one very much. And another option that you have for the orientation is just by simply putting it this way, and then you will see that you have more space to just increment the amount of, I mean, the size of the font that we're using here. And of course, you have more options like changing it here like this, the way it was before. Then we can rotate it this way. We can just put it this way as well, which I don't like, or simply change it the way you want it, by just going here and just choosing your own uh, way, which is not something that we're trying to aim in here. But by going here, you have variety of options like text wrapping, shrink to fit, which will allow the cell to contain the whole amount of text that you have there. You can work with the fill color right here. I mean, you have, this is what we call the format cells dialog box, in which you have all these options to work with. Okay, so um, let's just put it in the way that will look more readable, for example, like this. And as you can see now, this is just, coming together. Well, one more thing, the last thing that I must mention is that when I want to create dashboards like this, I have, well, this is something that I usually do. They have two options. You can either just remove the, I will call it the graded cells or the grid that you see on the background. You know, this is something that you can do on the view just by removing the grid lines here. This gives the, the entire environment a sense of beauty, I will say. One more thing that I would like to mention is that if you don't really like to have these options here for filtering, you can always just select the range and go to filter in this option and remove it. Or you can press Ctrl Shift and L and you will have the exact same result. Ctrl Shift L will bring this up and down or off and on, as you can see here. This is a pretty unique feature of Excel as well. The filters, these are things that you can always use. So pretty much I think I cover very basic general rules of this. One more thing that I'd like to ask is that if you want to just work with the cell content, you have this option here. As we have previously mentioned, you have several options that you can use just to display, colors that will give the user an idea of what we are aiming for or what we have in this dashboard. Matter of fact, if you feel comfortable, you can always just, select the entire range and change it to a certain color, really depending on your taste. Not quite what I'm looking for, but I just want you to see how this looks with the different type of options that we have here. Of course, this is not the end result that I would like to see. Perhaps something like this or this. This might come handy for me. I like it. I like the way it looks. But it's just a matter of taste. So, and well, with this, we have covered a couple of things, a couple of options that we have in Excel to work with text and manipulate, data in the sense of formatting, orientation, text size, and colors. So, we are just starting. We have way more things that we need to work with, especially conditional formatting when it comes to content of the cells. We are just beginning this journey. The adventure has just started, but get ready because I still have more for you guys. See you on the next video. If you're new to this channel, welcome, and don't forget to subscribe. This is really important to me to, make sure people are using this material and give us a thumbs up. Make sure that we also know that we're doing a good job, at least for you guys. So I see you in the next video, and now it's time for you to practice